So last night, an explosive drama broke out between Ethan Klein of the H3 podcast and political YouTube streamer Vaush. And Vaush looked so bad in this that Keemstar, the guy who has vehemently hated Ethan and Ethan has vehemently hated back for the last 7 years, came out in support of Ethan. This all started when Drama Alert tweeted out this clip with the caption, "Influencer Vaush labeled pedo after he accidentally opens cartoon CP while streaming. This is gross."
You can see this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
There was also allegedly horse porn too, according to multiple social media users. Decisive Content responds by saying, "Everyone knows that guy and the rest of his degenerate left-wing streamer pals are pedos." Lucky says, "Okay, so we gonna have him arrested, right?" Exalt Abyss shows the leak, which I am not going to show in this video, and captions it by saying, "Where's the CP?" Frost Pyro responds, "Lolly hentai is considered CP in multiple countries." Exalt Abyss responds, "Can't argue with that." Hakuno Notism tweets out this clip of Vaush and says, "So Vaush tried to defend his porn stash. He unironically uses the 'she was 3,000 years old' defense. The exact thing he said was a pedophile deflection."
Anyway, one of the two images just flatly didn't look like Lolly. I don't give a shit. Like cope, diamond, I just don't care. Like disingenuous shit, you know? The other one is like a threesome with two chicks and a guy. And in retrospect, looking at it, knowing now that that artist is a lolicon, yeah, I can see it. When I looked at it, I think the vibe that I got was like short stack, thick kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like the way like goblins get drawn in porn. You'll have to entertain me for a moment on this presumed shared knowledge of how goblins get drawn in pornography. But you know how they're all like thick short stacks, right? That was the vibe that I got because in the image, the girl that's shown has super thick legs and has like tits and a belly. So that's just the vibe I got. But now knowing that the artist is a lolicon, which I have been roundly reminded of, obviously knowing that it was intended to be a lolly drawing. So like, that's how it is, right? It's a drawing, you get it without context. I know that when I saved them because both the drawings have like a meaty dick in it and I'm a huge size queen. So like you look at it in retrospect and it's like, okay, well now with the broader context, I can understand how it comes off that way. Even if initially or like at first glance, the vibe would be more thick short stack.
Naywind responds by saying, "I love that his approach is to justify the individual images that happen to be shown. Not only does he do a terrible job of it after his condemnations of others, but his defense is meaningless when we all know he has hordes of stuff saved on his computer that we didn't see." J-Jab says, "Vaush has said multiple times in the past that he was for lowering or even abolishing the age of consent and that CP isn't inherently wrong. Yet none of these people ever said a word about that, but now it's just hentai of all things. That's what gets them to call him a pedo?" JF Garipe responds to all of this Vaush stuff by saying, "Vaush took the bold approach and stands by his bestiality horse porn. Says he wants to be the horse. This is a Cenk Uyghur moment on crack." The CJ Brownie shares a shorter clip of Vaush defending himself with the caption, "Apparently it's a big mix-up. Vaush didn't realize it was lolicon. Apparently he thought it was goblin porn. If you were whacking off to goblins, you've gone too far." Frenchie responds to CJ by saying, "Dude coping hard. Please tell me this neckbeard career is finally done. I thought the gecko drama would, but it didn't somehow." CJ responds, his fans are all like this, so they don't care. Richie Blue says, "I would have just owned up to it at this point. That or roll over and die." CJ responds, "Really, what else can he do? Kinda out of options." Dev responds to CJ's clip by saying, "Dude, just say you were into lolly. Yeah, it's fucking weird, but it's less embarrassing than this song and dance." Lilith Lovett says, "You guys act like you wouldn't sling a goblin girl over and use her as a sleeve if she had big titties and wide hips. Liars, all of you." Hunchback the Mighty says, "Listen, I like goblins as much as the next man. That wasn't what was seen in his porn folder." Zorich says, "Where are the goblins though? None are in those pics." Lilith responds, "He's using goblins as an example of the short stack body type. OP was the one attacking gobbo lovers." Uncle Abby responds to CJ's clip by showing an image of the character Vaush had porn of that got leaked and captions it by saying, "This is the hardest cope lie I ever seen. Goblin, no pointy ears, no green or colored skin, normal anime hair, normal anime eyes, for multiple images and full body. Literally no one believes this. Not Vaush or any of you. It's just damage control." MBlackCYN responds, "That's a child." And then Uncle Abby responds, "Nah, it's just an anime character." Which, if you look at the small portion of the image that I'm allowing you to see in this video, yeah, that is not an adult. So even people that are in denial of the image Vaush leaked being lolly are still saying he's coping with the goblin excuse. Anyways, Exalt Abyss shares the clip CJ posted and says, "This is Vaush's explanation, and I'm inclined to believe him personally. However, shit is weird to have on your computer, and he should be more careful about vetting the shit he downloads and managing his folders while streaming." The dump says, "I'm sorry, I don't know how goblins get drawn in porn." Saul Badman says, "If you see the full res images, the character is instantly recognizable as child-coded instead of short stack vibe." Exalt Abyss responds, "Almost all women in hentai and anime art styles are child-coded. It's a problem in the medium." Irrational Chad says, "Vaush fundamentally misunderstood what going goblin mode meant." Kagua's Top Gal says, "Goku after fighting Vaush's horse lolly porn addiction." Turkey Tom says, "The lolicon community is in shambles." So Ethan Klein saw all of this discussion on Twitter around this Vaush leak and decided to go live to talk about it. Here is what he said.
The fact that this is drawn is
oh my god, these are the images. They found them all. Oh, it's even worse than I thought.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, whoa, these people are psycho how they figured all this out.
That's the
These
internet for you.
these are children. Like this photo here of like these are little
Like
girls.
anime, but they look really young.
They're all drawings. Look at this one. This one, it's like Snow White. It's like busty, young-looking Snow White
So bad, dude.
Yeah.
with a. Look at this, Hila.
I see.
Okay, maybe
What's your argument?
we get the idea.
Yeah, you're right, Cam. That actually puts it into context for me. I mean, that's nuts, bro.
DGG World shares another clip from H3's live stream and captions it by saying, "Vaush getting obliterated in front of 40K tonight. Hashtag Tacoma wept."
8 inches, bro. You are a vile freak, bro. You gotta get a life outside. Just
Think about horse cock.
Tacoma's weeping right now, bro.
Alex quote tweets DGG World and says, "As much as I dislike Vaush, I do think it's important to point out how hypocritical Ethan is by shitting on Vaush for liking horses with Hila right next to him." Which, by the way, I don't agree with this joke, but it got 3.8k likes, so. Anyways, Chris the Narc tweets out some Discord DMs from Vaush and captions it by saying, "Vaush has been molding and trying to get on H3 podcast right now after Ethan has kneeled on him." These Discord messages start out with Vaush saying, "If he wanted me on to defend myself, he probably would have reached out. My illustrious first appearance on the H3 podcast. I've generally been fair to Ethan, I think. I don't fault him for covering drama, but doing this gigantic generic smear piece without reaching out or talking beforehand feels at least a little slimy of him. People really do hate me. I'd reach out if I could." He then responds to someone saying, "I really doubt that's a viable avenue of engagement, and failed attempts at engagement just makes me look defensive, really." Chris the Narc also tweets out, "Ethan's chat is now waking up, laughing my fucking ass off," showing a live chat from an H3 podcast channel member called Emeraldos, saying, "I subscribed to him because of his decent political views, and was hoping his awful CP takes were taken out of context or something, but this in combination with the lolly CP stuff is disgusting." Vaush also reacts publicly on his Twitter to Ethan's stream by saying, "Yo, if H3 wants to talk, that's totally cool, but you'll have to wait a sec because I'm getting a haircut right now." Tipster says, "Genuinely disappointed in seeing what H3 did to Vaush earlier tonight. You'd think after everything Hassan's community as well as others in the past have done to misrepresent Ethan, he wouldn't be so quick to do the same to others. Yet here we are. He even used the same out-of-context clips alt-writers have used to defame Vaush time and time again. Whatever this was intended to be, there is one thing for sure. This was not the move, and it was an extremely bad faith misrepresentation of Vaush." Chainsaw responds to Tipster by saying, "My understanding is that the clips were not only used, but originally grabbed by alt-writers as well as literal years ago. Where did the clips come from, Ethan? Who made the clips?" Tipster responds, "This is a fact." Ike responds to Tipster by saying, "I don't know how much of this was Ethan being disingenuous versus his producers having it out for Vaush. It would be very out of character for Ethan if he knew what he was doing." Ethan Klein then starts reacting to everybody talking about this after his stream through his Instagram stories, which Nicholas Diorio points out with the caption, "Someone let Ethan out of his cage." He then shows 4 Instagram stories. The first one is Ethan showing a post from Dwarf Kevin on the H3 subreddit where they say, "Sorry H3 fam, membership gone. That That hit piece calling Vaush a pedo and a racist was so bad. It just made me very disappointed. I thought better of Ethan. To just swear someone like that, very kav move. And then don't ban me, I was joking responds, don't let the horse cock hit you on the way out. And then Ethan circles that comment, responding with a bunch of crying emojis. He also shows this picture and says, Jesus when he finds out I don't put Cobalt in the same category as CP. Next, he shows this 4chan post that says, I got enough to worry about with the feds on my ass. And now I gotta hear from Jordy that you got some fucking Japanese kitty porn? Save on your fucking computer? Tone, they're just a drawing. Shut up! Tone, she's actually 900 years old in the story. Shut up! And then this last Instagram story is Ethan responding to a comment saying they're no longer gonna watch him by saying, found the lollipop. Since that tweet from Nicholas Diorio, H3 has posted more about this on his Instagram story, like him showing this comment from Cats for Comms, where they say, the argument is not, many commodities are obtained badly, therefore you should be okay with CP. It's, we should not be okay with obtaining everything else in a harmful way. I think justifying the product as a good to society for the other commodities is pretty weird and cruel. Just agree that obtaining things in a harmful way should not be done at all. If that means you can still obtain Cobalt, but there is no way to produce CP at all, great. Nobody disagrees. No CB and ethical Cobalt. That's the world we want. Ethan then responds with 6 camera emojis and says, our clear position is that they don't belong in the same category. I am right and you are wrong. Good day, sir. He also shows this post on the H3 subreddit that says, to all the Vaushites having a hissy fit and unsubbing, bye. He then shows another post from his Reddit that says, why are we not talking about this for Vaush? Why does he have a porn folder open on the same PC that he streams on? Is he stupid? The Bingus responds yes. Solid State Estate responds yes. Invalidly Genda responds yes. Different Eb78 responds yes. And Lapdopper responds yes. Ethan then shows this comment from his Reddit where someone called G Palin says, damn, it's almost like it's never been a mystery and last night's show is basically a hit piece. And then Elaine Christian responds, I know about the Vaush horsecock stuff way before you guys. Okay, weird flex. You want a cookie? And then Ethan reacting with a bunch of crying emojis. Ethan shows this meme from Outlaw Smith where he says, according to Vaush, you decide. Showing the red pill as no CP and no Cobalt, and the blue pill as CP and Cobalt. But of course, the most important Instagram story that Ethan posted in regards to all of this was his response to the tipster tweet that we read earlier, where he says, cheers my horse, love ya, no pedo. I tweet this out onto my timeline, and then Keemstar responds by saying, pains me to say this, but W Ethan. Nicholas Diorio says, we forgive Ethan Klein, and then Keemstar responds, honestly, right now, I do. He's a parent. He understands the sickos need to be stopped. Just a Worm quote tweets me and says, another tipster W, showing tipster rejecting the idea of keeping quiet and staying out of drama, and approving of defending Vaush's lolly horse porn collection and getting publicly destroyed by Ethan Klein. Josh responds to Ethan's post by saying, I love watching these nasty, terrible people gnaw at each other. Tipster responds to Ethan by saying, I see Ethan was a big fan of my criticism, lol. Alex Getman responds, Jesus, here we were thinking he could do good. What the hell happened? He was on a roll and then out of nowhere, he spreads misinformation and slanders people. Punish Jake 2 says, what an actual loser. Now anyone who disagrees with him on this is just a pedo. Very normal. Tipster continues tweeting about this when he says, I gave the most lighthearted criticism and his response was to insinuate to his audience that I'm a pedo? For reals? Keffels responds to Ethan reacting to Tipster by saying, I'm disappointed in H3H3. You had me on your show and called me a hero for fighting against an alt-right stalking form that made multiple people kill themselves. Now you are using out-of-context clips sourced from the same website to attack people. Do better, Ethan. I really like you. You are a good person, but the way you are treating Vaush is fucked up and beneath you. And then H3 responds to Keffels in another Instagram story where he says, who the fuck are these people riding, pun intended, for pornographic drawings of a horse fucking child? Am I losing my mind? Tipster responds to H3's response to Keffels and says, yes, H3, you are losing your mind. You are being extremely bad faith and everyone is calling you out for it. After all the genuinely good takes you've had over the past year, we expected better from you. Keffels responds by saying, hey H3, you didn't address anything I said. I'm not pro Lolicon, and if I thought Vaush was, I wouldn't defend him. Can you please have a discussion about this instead of of putting me on blast to your 2 million Instagram followers and pedo-jacking me? This is gross. Ethan, I know you are seeing this even if you don't respond. I defended you while you were having a meltdown over the stuff with Hassan. People gave me shit for it. All I'm asking is for you to show some charitability to those who showed it to you. I'm not your enemy. Moodar quote tweets Keffels and says, seeing some of these leaks and the footage attached to them, even with context, is an incredibly bad look. I don't think H3 is saying anything out of pocket. Some debates shouldn't be had, and some of the photos stored in that folder is downright vile. Keffels responds to Mudahar by saying, with all due respect, I never asked to debate Ethan or anyone on this topic. I think it's pretty out of pocket for Ethan to say, who are these people writing for child pornography, when I'm not defending child pornography. Ethan knows who I am, and called me a hero on his show. I literally have Ethan's phone number. He gave it to me. I'll try giving him a call later to see if this can get sorted, instead of becoming online blood sports. Well, that call she had must have not went well with him, as a couple hours later, Ethan responds to her again on his Instagram story and says, you said I took clips out of context. The entire conversation revolved around showing the full context of everything, so that people couldn't say I took everything out of context. And you still said it. Remember that you choose to die on Lolly Hill. Also, I offered Vaush to come on the show to explain to me and my audience how what I said was out of context or dishonest. He declined. Also, what the fuck is pedo jacketing? Why do you guys have such weird ass expressions for everything? And how often are you being accused of being a pedo that you need a nickname for it? If the jacket fits, you must not acquit. He then shows Vaush in a jacket that says pedo and says, is this pedo jacketing? And then in brackets, not a real photo, obviously, showing that it's like AI generated or whatever. Now, with the term pedo jacketing, I haven't really heard it either. As you guys know who have watched my channel for a while, we do a lot of Twitterversus episodes on pedophiles, and despite how many videos I've made on the topic over the last 5 years, I haven't heard of pedo jacketing and don't even know what it means. But anyways, reading a couple more Keffels tweets before she decides to delete all of them, Keffels responds to Hassan streaming about her by saying, very cool. He's now putting me on blast saying I want to debate the ethics of child pornography. This is toxic, bad faith, drama mongering trash. I'm not even a debate streamer. Hassan did more debates than me last year. It wasn't even 2 months ago he was attempting to get Elon Musk on his stream to epically debate him. Keffels makes another tweet about this when she says, it shouldn't be acceptable for people who are supposedly leftist or progressive to pedo jacket trans people. We are already the target of that by the right. Incredibly disappointing to see from people who should know better. Tipster then tweets out this clip with the caption, damn it, Vaush! None of this would have happened if you would just watch porn on your phone like a normal person. Watch on your phone and never save. Ever! Lol. Keemstar shows these tweets from Tipster and says, Vaush accidentally showed a folder on his PC that had cartoon child porn. Tipster, watch on your phone and never save. Then Drama Alert responds to Keemstar by saying, log Vaush and Tipster up now! Tipster responds to Keemstar by saying, I guess Keemstar didn't learn shit from the lawsuit he lost against Def Noodles over falsely suggesting he was a pedophile. Tipster also tweets out, remember all those times Ethan Klein called out Keemstar for falsely accusing people of being pedophiles? I sure do. And man, it's quite the hypocrisy to see Ethan pedo jacketing others right now. Rules for thee, but not for me, eh, Ethan? Augie RFC says, Tipster should not have children. Keemstar also tweets out this clip with the caption, Vaush needs to be put down in Minecraft.
Off is this or that, okay? I'll make it clear. You can write this down. I want to fuck a woman as a horse. None of this is a secret. To be clear, you know, many jokes have been made about this, but I stand by it. My moral principles are rock solid. My feet are firmly planted in the ground. I've got my boots up. They're planted firmly. You cannot move me from my position. This isn't a secret. Let's talk to a therapist. Well, why do you want to be the horse, Vaush? Because then I'd have a giant dick. Okay, couldn't you have a big dick the other way? Well, yeah, I could. Like, yeah, I could have a big dick hypothetically in any variety of scenarios, but then it wouldn't really be a horse dick. Well, you could be a human with a horse dick. Yes, but then I wouldn't have that powerful stallion energy using it. There you go. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Papa Uwu X responds by saying, woke people and trying to normalize their weird kinks need to be studied. Johns Long says, that first line got me crying. Jackson Clark says, his argument doesn't make this any less creepy at the end of the day. He is still attracted to the idea of a horse fucking a woman, even if it's him. That is a genuine attraction to bestiality, not to mention his CP collection. Porn addiction has ruined so many people. Willie Macho says, Vaush is unironically crying about wanting to be a horse and fucking a woman. I thought this was a meme. it's not. Lamp says, he was in fact not just horsing around. Flamenco tweets out this Vaush clip and says, life comes at you fast.
What is it about anime that attracts Nazis? In this case, it's literally the pedophilia angle. It's that anime has a ton of f***ing lolly shit, and a ton of Nazis are hyper insecure in their masculinity, and they want like a trad wife or whatever, untainted by feminism, that they can control and manipulate because they have no other experiences. And anime is perfect for people with that kind of psychosis.
A few moments later.
You can see this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to. Well,
It's a Gundam responds with this clip.
Got him! Got him! Got that hoe ass nigga!
Azihara says, to his defense, it's not lolly he has, it's bestialism lolly. You see, the bestialism negates the lolly part in his eyes. Ash Pizza Witch says, I like the artist not Sorapoi, cause they do the cutie pixie girl from Dota 2, but those others are absolutely lolly hentai laughing my ass off. He's admitted he's molested his lizards, and argued to lower age of consent countless times. Not one for cancel culture, but holy fuck, get rid of him already. They then show a Discord message from Vaush in February of 2018 where he says, the way I see it, the age of consent exists out of respect for the numerous power imbalances older people have over younger people, as those imbalances, or at least some of them, are redressed through the advent of socialism. The age of consent should therefore be lowered. And then he shows messages from November 2017 where Vaush says, I put a gecko on my dick for a picture once and it licked it. Yeah, consent is irrelevant for animals. Even pets get no say in being locked up, taken away, fixed, or euthanized. I don't think bestiality should be a crime. Someone responds stop, and then Vaush says, and one of my geckos will run down and jump on my dick. Like they are giving me a full body hand job. And then he also shows pictures of Vaush with his geckos, just looking at them. Flamenco responds to all of this by saying, I think hypocrisy should be bullied, to be honest. Nigel responds with this picture of a man and a bow photoshopped onto him and says, you telling me Vaush is a pedo? Flamenco responds, nah, just a hypocrite. Jalen quote tweets Flamenco and says, Flamenco doesn't care that Vaush allegedly had lolicon in his folder. No, he just thinks Vaush is a hypocrite because Flamenco likes lolicon. Flamenco responds, yeah, Jalen, hypocrisy is bad. I never called Vaush a pedo. Drawings are literally not real. Now, Vaush himself has called people that consume what was on his folder pedos, so he's a self-described pedo. If you want to defend someone like that, all power to you, I guess. And with that anti-Vaush pro-lolly take, that will be about it for this video. But this situation just broke. There are more crazy tweets being made about this situation as we speak, so if you don't want to miss the continuation of this, be sure to subscribe to this channel with notifications on. Anyways, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.